I wanted to make I wanted to make this video because it sounds good. So maybe it's good because it sounds good. Basically, I'm in a weird position right now, so my back is kind of messed up. So I gotta get in a better position. A topic of today's video is procrastination. I think I'm procrastinating a bit. From what? I don't know, just what I want to do. When you live life, you want to consciously live every moment of it. Every moment of your life, you want to be the deciding factor of it. What may happen on the outside is not your choice, but you can make a choice based on the outside world. So I want to be able to do that. Supposedly, what I've not come to realize, but what I'm looking at is that life and doing things in life comes from memory. It's all a memory based and how you twist and turn the memory. So like my life is a what I consider my life, which is the mind stuff, the stuff in the mind, is basically my life. It's my memory. My life is my memory, essentially. If I have no memory about anything, then I'm just pure life with no memory. But the memory that I have within myself is what's making me sort of have like, this is this and this is this about my life. Like, this is this and this is that. That's what my memory is doing. It's sort of like a cutting instrument. Like, okay, that's over here. I split this, and then, over here is this aspect of my life, and then this is one aspect of my life. That is my memory, and everybody has this memory, and they're twisting and turning this memory into their life. Even the idea of creating something in the future is based off of a memory that you gathered in the past, and you're just twisting and turning it and making it a bit different. But it's still the same memory, just twisted and turned. So essentially, destiny and your future and all that stuff is just memory that you bring to the present moment. Because people live the same life for years because they're in the same state of their memory. They're identifying with this memory and they don't notice it. So they're living that same memory over and over again, which is creating similar situations in their life. Obviously, there's a idea that the outside world, they're projecting their memory onto the outside world, so what comes up is always something similar to their memory, but in the current objective world that they see. Now, the only way to really change life is to identify, twist and turn your memory, and identify with the different, maybe the more positive side of your memory, something that hasn't really been, that you haven't done. But if you can use your mind to place yourself in there and ignore the outside world, then you live a different life. I don't know if it's psychosis. I don't know if it's psychosis or not. But everybody is in some state of psychosis, I would say. In some state, at least, they think they're looking life the way it is, but it's just a game. Like, it's all a game. It's all a dream. But you gotta be conscious in the dream. Anyways, I want to move on to another aspect. Yeah, I'm gonna circle back, but I'm gonna move on to this next aspect. The next aspect is looking at life the way it is. Like, when you look at something, instantly in your mind is, okay, I'm looking at my hand. This is my hand, right? Like, this is something that I made up in my head. When you're a kid, you could just stare at this. You're not sure what this is until your parents say, this is a hand. Or in school, you learn about the biology, this is a hand. I don't know when I learned that this right here is called a hand, but at some point I learned that it was called a hand. When I look at the tree outside, at some point I learned that that was called a tree. If I never knew what that was called, then I'd be able to look at it truly. But now that I look at it, I'm like, oh, tree, right? So it becomes mundane, it becomes boring because I've identified it with something. Oh, I know this, it's a tree. But before, when I was a little kid, I didn't know what it was, so I would look at it, I would stare at it, I would be infatuated by it because I didn't know what it was. When you know something, you're not no longer infatuated by it. When you don't know something, you really try to look into it, and that's really what it is. And people think they know stuff based off of their current memory, so they live that life They live the same life for years because it's that memory. That's why rich people stay rich, poor people stay poor, middle middle class stay middle class, because they're just stuck in their memory. If the middle class person decided to identify with the memory of being rich and like what it feels like to be rich, then that person would be rich. If the rich person identified with what it's like to be poor, then he would ultimately become poor in no time at all. If he really truly identified with being poor, that's just how it is. As far as things to do on a daily basis is where you run into this thing called procrastination. What is procrastination? Just locked into your old memory, locked into the memory that you've been, the pattern of memory that you've been playing with. That's procrastination. Is there something greater than procrastination? Well, it is conscious living. It's about living consciously. Living consciously every moment. It's not a matter of whether or not you'll be able to actually do the thing that you have in your mind. It's already being the person who's done the thing, no matter if it's exteriorly or not. Like it's not harm to say that you've done something even though you have not done it and feel it as true. What's so wrong about that? Who makes up the rules of life saying, oh, you have to see it physically in order to actually experience it as a reality? Who made up that rule? So the idea is, let me pause real quick. So the idea is to always be constantly in the feeling of your goal, and to be in that feeling 24/7, 365, and growing that, and just be conscious of the way you feel, of the way you think. Play with it. Do what you want with it. Anyways, that's what I gotta say.